name's Alex Rodriguez, reminding you, you don't need a contract, you need a team of pros. Hey everybody, Alex with Bay Cities Construction here. I have a special guest I want to share with you and introduce you to John Alvarez. Today we're going to talk about real estate, construction, and everything that you need to know if you're considering buying a property or doing a major remodel at your place. Things you should consider, home prices, construction prices. We're going to talk about it all today. Stay tuned. My name's Alex Rodriguez, reminding you, you don't need a contract, you need a team of pros. Welcome back, folks. Alex Rodriguez here with Bay Cities Construction. I want to introduce you to my good friend, John Alvarez. He's a realtor in Pasadena. We're going to talk about some real estate related topics. As my promise to you, we're going to have a series of real estate speakers over the next few weeks. And John happens to be the first. Thanks very much, John, for coming by.
Appreciate it, Alex. Appreciate it.
Awesome, man. So, John, tell us a little bit about your background. I know that you're a Marine. You did a couple tours in Afghanistan. How did you get from the deserts of Afghanistan to the foothills of Pasadena?
Pasadena. Well, you know, originally, I'd say about 10 years ago, I started in real estate, did my classes, and I actually was made to go back in the military, so I had to put real estate on hold, and here I am 10 years later, and find myself doing real estate. My wife is from Pasadena, so that's the reason why I'm in Pasadena.
You have a few kids too, right?
I do. I have 3 kids, and
you have 3 kids. Holy smokes!
Yeah, 3 kids: 21, 12, and 6 years old.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. So we're going to talk about some of John's listings. Obviously, we've also put together. I want you guys to stay tuned. John's put together like what he thinks is some of the best hidden secret spots that are for sale right now, like little golden nuggets of hidden property that's the best value in Pasadena. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about his amazing listing, a beautiful hilltop mansion on the mountains of Pasadena. Talk about that too. We also put together a little slide presentation. We talk a little bit about the stats in the area. So let's get into it. Oh, by the way, don't forget, for the first 5 that share, I've got some freebies. I got some coffee. I'm a contractor. I got to give you guys a little Home Depot card here. And I still have a couple of dinners at the Olive Garden. All right.
Awesome.
So for the first 5 of you that share, sharing is caring, and we need a little bit of sharing. This is also an interactive show. We'll be answering your questions, so please post your questions. We got Brian, the all social media genius back there, collecting all of the data and make sure that we keep on top of all of our watchers, our viewers. All right, so John, let's get into a little bit about the area there. So tonight's episode, we're going to talk about the housing market, your listings, ratings, and reviews, and then we're going to do the lightning round, which is
awesome.
Pretty cool.
Looking forward to it.
So let's see what we got here. It's a little bit of background info. In case you want to confirm that John is licensed, there you go. There's his data, and he works for Berkshire Hathaway.
South Pasadena.
Where is that office located, by the way?
It's South Pasadena 8. It's down by, if you know where the barbecue place down in South Pasadena, 812 South Fair Oaks Avenue, South Pasadena, California.
Right on. On Fair Oaks. It's on Fair
Oaks, yeah.
It's Home Services, California Properties.
California Properties, correct.
Right on. So this is the area you cover. So tell us a little bit about this area.
All right, so the area I cover, I live in Pasadena, but mostly anywhere in the foothills, I would say I specialize in. I grew up in Los Feliz, Echo Park, pretty much Glendale, Pasadena area, so I'm pretty familiar with the area. So anywhere in the neighborhood, Arcadia, Sierra Madre, up in the foothills, La Crescenta, I'm pretty well versed, and I would say know the neighborhoods pretty well, know the market.
Right on. So let's talk about the trending stats for Pasadena and that general area. Tell us a little bit about the slide.
All right, so this was taken directly from the California Association of Realtors. And if you look at the median price in Pasadena as of December 2017, it's $930,000. Price
Holy smokes!
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Pretty up there. 23.5 days on the market. I mean, pretty much when the house does happen to go on the market, it goes by quick. 23 days. I mean, you think about escrows, pretty much 30-day standard. 23 days, it's gone.
So what do you think? I mean, like if you're considering selling a house, right, and you look at the data right now, I mean, a lot of people may not be ready to move. Like they put it on the market and may be gone in 5 days. And
right.
What are some of the tips you think for people to get themselves ready for to list, right? Now you don't want to add uncertainty
absolutely.
to people, right? But there's a couple things to consider.
Well, the first thing is always check with your wife, because you'll get in trouble if you don't do that first. Check with the boss.
All right.
Always have a plan. I mean, you always want to have a place to go prior. I don't want to say the last thing you want to do, but you don't want to really get in the situation where the sale of the home is contingent on you buying another home. That could really delay you moving out and you selling the home. So I do recommend finding a place prior to listing your home. So, and also it helps if the home is empty, so that way it does help with staging and making prospective buyers know exactly what they're getting into.
Right on. So let's see here, inventory index 2.9. So this is, tell the viewers that don't understand what that means. Unsold inventory index 2.9 months. What does that mean?
Right. So you're looking at 2.9 months turnover margin of a home. So when you look at the, let's see here.
The total houses that are for sale?
Right. The also the absorption rate, you're looking at 2.9 months. It's really hard to say layman's term here.
But I would say that the way I have it understood is that you have 2.9 months worth of inventory in the market. So the market,
right.
The inventory turns in 2.9 months.
Right. But I believe that number has been lower the last few months, because you're looking at homes sold divided by homes on the market. So 2.9 months. I'm double check those numbers, but I do believe it has been historically a lot lower.
Well, and that's kind of like a fluid number. I mean,
absolutely.
The home prices. I mean, the home prices are month to month, right?
Right, exactly.
And the home data is month to month.
Exactly. So. And when you're looking at other numbers as well, for month to month, you're looking at numbers, especially median prices going up and down. Change in prices go up to 10%.
So this is as of December, by the way.
December, correct.
The audience should recognize this is December's data, and the way that things are broken down, it's by quarter, but then also month to month, and then you add up the stuff, and you get an idea of what happened that quarter. All right, cool. So let's get a comparison to what things were like in January 2010.
Right, compared to how it is today, compared to January 2010, $545,000. That's the average. The median price of a house is sold in Pasadena. So you're looking at $300,000-$400,000 in value, gone up.
That's
and
amazing.
Price per square feet, $389. You're looking at $200 in difference. And 60 days on the market, I mean, it was a buyer's market back then.
Yeah.
I mean, you had inventory for days. You had your pickings of homes, but nowadays it's the opposite. 60 days compared to 25 days or so it is today.
That's amazing.
Totally different market.
That's amazing. For those of you who don't know my story, right? I used to flip houses. I was a flipper. That was before the crash, where I jokingly always say that after the crash I had to get an honest job and be a contractor, because I used to work about 4 hours a day flipping houses. It was not, I mean, it wasn't a dishonest living, but I have to put a full 12 hours worth of work now. So anyway, getting back to the data, mean home prices, trajectory over the last 4 quarters. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Sure. You look at, if you look over to the left, the first column, February 18, let's just look at the average list price, 1.589. Same time last year, 1.298. You're looking at a 22% change just from 1 year. Now, if you get into the Pasadena market, value of the home went up $300,000. So Pasadena is really a good neighborhood to get into. Look at the days in the market. February 2017, 74 days. Now it's gone down. So it tells you
almost a month.
Almost a month, yeah. Inventory is going way down. So it's really getting a lot harder to get into homes. And even if you do find that home, it's a lot harder to actually get your offer accepted because multiple offers are going through and majority of the offers are above asking.
So let me ask you this. I think that in a market like this, you would think that like a realtor or realtors that have access to pocket listings, that have access to kind of insider stuff, not to add the mystique of insider trading, but insider stuff, there's definitely things there's definitely transactions that take place that never hit the MLS, right?
That's correct.
Is that a true statement?
I actually went to, I don't want to say an open house, but one house was a pocket listing and it was open to real estate agents and brokers prior to it going to on the market. So what happens is you'll have clients that want to see if they could sell it, pocket listing prior, and if there's no activity, then they'll put it on the market.
And that's kind of a good opportunity for a pocket listing. It's a good opportunity for the buyer, right, to get in and not be so crowded. The field isn't crowded, right, with every realtor out there yet.
And
I mean, you can maybe get a handful of people, but not.
And I have
40,
clients
50.
too. One of the biggest issues that they have is privacy, and a lot of people don't want to deal with having a lot of foot traffic in their home, especially when it's still occupied. that
When you're living there, that totally makes sense to me. Let's see what you got here. All right, let's talk about the affordability index.
Right. So if you look at this statistics here, this is from the California Association of Realtors. 29% of Californians can afford to purchase a home in California.
That's a third.
That's basically
a little bit less than a third.
The rest of 70% of you guys out there renting homes. I mean, it's a big number, and it says a lot about our state and real estate. And believe it or not, 28%, Los Angeles is just about average. Go up north, San Francisco, good luck really finding a house at 12% in the Bay Area.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Silicon Valley.
Cash buyers. Where are the cash buyers? Man, where's the cash at?
Yeah.
Where's the cash at?
So
man?
if you look at the stat, 1/5 of all transactions are cash buyers. And, it does bode well for you if you are a cash buyer because more than likely your offer is a lot stronger than a potential buyer with an FHA or some other loan that they're going to have to take out. Or, cash buyers, they've got the listing.
I had a buddy of mine, maybe about 2 years ago. He was buying in Monterey Park, and he was getting out. He just completely outbid on every. I think he tried maybe 6 or 7 houses before he got in his realtor. 6 or 7 houses he got beat out by people, outside investors from China. But this particular neighborhood is there's a high population of Chinese immigrants.
Chinese buyers, right?
Chinese buyers. So he got, I think it was 6, maybe more times he got outbid. He couldn't find anything, and it wasn't until his realtor found him a pocket listing that he was able to get the house that he was in now. So I think a lot of times people say, well, I don't need a realtor. I can just go on Zillow and this and that.
Right. I've had that issue a couple times where I've been to an open house and I had a couple of people come in and tell me, hey, I don't really need an agent. I really don't need you. I only need you here to show me the house. And
man, aside from being extremely rude, it's wrong.
On one hand, it's like, it's pretty rude, but I commend her for being honest with me and not wasting my time either. But the good thing about working with an agent is, especially a buyer agent, one is, we're experts in getting you what you need, and we know the market. And 2, there's a lot of forms you got to deal with. And this one particular lady, she purchased her own home on her own, and that was about 15 years ago. But now she's looking at a whole different market, different forms, different laws. And also, in addition to that, is when you're working with a buyer agent, I'm not talking about commission, but it's at no cost to you. working with a buyer agent.
Yeah, it makes no sense. You're getting
You
all
are
of your
getting
expertise free.
Exactly.
For
Me
free.
running around showing you homes.
Yeah.
Me running around coordinating your calendar, my calendar, the listing agent's calendar.
Sure.
You know, it's a lot of time, and it saves you as a potential buyer, you know, a lot of coordinating on your end. So that's what we're here for.
I think that unfortunately, the real estate game is, there's a low cost for there's a low barrier for entry, right? So
Absolutely.
you get a lot of people that have limited amount of information, and so I think you have two schools of thought. You have the folks that have limited amount of information, but are seeking out somebody to guide them through the deal. Right. Those are the smart ones. And then you've got the other ones that have limited amount of information, but are much like a teenager. They don't know how bad they need the information.
Absolutely.
Right. So to each their own. But I think it's an important thing to point out that working with a good realtor, working with a good CPA,
absolutely.
with a
Absolutely.
good attorney. I mean, it's just
Absolutely.
it's
And that's when it does help to have that relationship, as opposed to the transactional agent. Unfortunately, that lady was more of a transactional type of person. So, her loss.
Well, I'm good with the transaction. We just have to have a good transaction.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to find me a good
Speaking
property.
of which, yeah, Pasadena's a good place.
That's right. So what do we got here on the trends here in Pasadena?
All right. So days on average, days on the market. So when you have a listing, I mean, it's trending up based on the time of the month or time of the year. Generally, these type of months during the winter, December, homes are going to sit. You know, when you have a situation where it's summertime, people are moving out, kids are moving out.
Yep.
You know, a lot of houses are more on the market and more they're selling as opposed to this time of year.
So you the previous slide was the trends, right? Like what's the average trend? But then there's kind of micro markets, right? Within any market, right? So a lot of that has to do with the school district or the particular home school that the house belongs to.
Right. You know that's one of the positives of Pasadena. I mean, granted, there are I don't want to say bad schools. There are the schools there that are average or not really desirable, but
not amazing.
Not amazing, but Pasadena is home. If you go to greatschools.org, Pasadena is home to 8 schools with a 10 out of 10 rating. And these are public schools, mind you, not necessarily private schools where you have to pay tuition. So it's if you can get your foot in the door, your kids are going to have a good education. And not only that, you're also living in beautiful Pasadena.
Yeah, man, there's no doubt about that. That's a real deal.
Yeah.
So some of the top school districts that you identified for the audience.
Right.
Name them off.
Right. So in my area, La Cañada High School is a little bit northwest, but that is one of the top schools, and to include San Marino, which is just south, quiet, very affluent neighborhood, and Huntington Middle School, Arroyo Vista Elementary School. These are all in the San Marino area, South Pasadena area. So these are all within the neighborhood. You send your kids to school there. I mean, if not for you as a husband and wife, send it for your kids. It's getting into a home is more than just for you and yourself and your wife. You got to think about your family.
Right.
And a good school is a good reason to move here.
All right, folks, we're going to be right back. We're going to take a little break here, a little sponsored break. But don't go away. We've got some giveaways and we've got some questions to answer. Go ahead and post your questions during the break on our feed, and we will answer them when we're right back.
Awesome.
There is a place where everyone wants to go. People long for it. Write to it. Compose songs about it. And say, there's no place. There's no place. There's no place like it. We help you reach this place, even if reaching it means first saying goodbye to it. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Good to know.
Folks, welcome back. For those of you that are just joining us, I am here with John Alvarez, Realtor Extraordinaire in the Pasadena neighborhoods, and we're talking about the Pasadena housing market. If you're watching this on a rebroadcast, please don't forget to share this and also start from the beginning, because we had some pretty good data points to share with you. So let's keep with our conversation of what the pulse of the neighborhood is.
Absolutely.
So Pasadena is becoming gentrified?
You know, believe it or not, when you think of Pasadena, you actually think it's fluent. It's already a lot of great neighborhoods. I mean, that's mostly true. But there's a pocket of Pasadena where it's not really up there yet. Similar to neighborhoods such as Los Feliz, Silver Lake, Highland Park, which, you know, happens to be the neighborhoods that I used to live in. It seems like everywhere I go, it's being going up and up, on the up and up. So a lot of parts of Pasadena, it's becoming a lot more gentrified. So for example, in my neighborhood, down the street on the same corner, 2 different coffee shops just opened. I mean, you're paying $6 for a cup of coffee. I mean, nothing says gentrification like 2 coffee shops.
Like a Starbucks knockoff.
Right, exactly. And there's a lot of new Pasadena laws. They're trying to make the streets more friendly to bicyclists and pedestrians. So, for example, there's a street on Orange Grove Boulevard. They're trying to make that 1 lane going each way. The reason for that is 2 lanes. Supposedly, cars are driving way too fast, 50 miles an hour and a 35 mile an hour speed limit, and you know, people are more important, so they're going to make it 1 lane each way. And pretty much of Pasadena is going that way. It's more to keep that family-friendly atmosphere in the city.
Right on. We have a question, Brian.
Yes.
Read off a question. We got a question here.
We do have a question from one of our viewers. Jackie asks, "Where can a middle-class family afford to live in California?"
Not in
Where?
California.
That's a good question.
Well, Jackie, we have some special. We got to save it for later. We do have a few little identified pocket neighborhoods.
Right. I mean, outside of going up to the neighborhoods, I mean, you're going to have to travel. I mean, I'm assuming majority of people in Southern California are working in and around, let's say, downtown Los Angeles or in the neighborhood, give or take 10 miles. If you're living in Southern California, you're pretty much traveling. You're a commuter. So if you're going to want to buy a house that is going to be, let's say, $500,000, single-family residence, and also family-friendly, good neighborhood, you're going to have to travel. If not north, Santa Clarita, even that's going up and up. So you might have to go even further, Palmdale, Lancaster. I mean, you might have to go east. You might have to go to Ontario. You might have to go to Upland. You have to do what you got to do. Riverside, Colton, Grand Terrace. Who knows?
Holy smokes!
Yeah,
so what do you mean by no to pro football?
Right. So again, going back with the idea that Pasadena is trying to keep that wholesome, family-friendly atmosphere.
Yeah.
So the last few years, the Los Angeles Rams have moved here. Los Angeles Chargers have moved here. Both were pitched to be temporary homes to house the football teams. Now, none of the residents were going for it. You know, even if it were, you think about there's 16 games in a year. There's 8 home games. That's only 8 Sundays per year. 8 Sundays was way too much. And
It got shot down, huh?
It got shut down. Yeah.
Wow.
We have a follow-up question. John, about the territories that you serve, do you also serve Alhambra? It looks like we went too quickly on that
Oh
side.
yeah, no, absolutely. No, so absolutely, Alhambra is south of Pasadena. Well, you're talking about 10 minutes. So absolutely anywhere. Let me go back actually. So even though that is my neighborhood, if you're not in my neighborhood, I'll still service you, because the reason is a good agent will service you no matter where you're going. So for example, I have clients as far as Santa Clarita, which was my last transaction that I closed. I even went as far as Ontario, Simi Valley, Riverside, Victorville, you name it. I mean, if that's what your client is asking, that's where I'm going. But again, these are my neighborhoods. But if you need help in Alhambra, I mean, I was actually in Monterey Park last month, which is just south of that. So a real estate agent is there for you. not for me, not out of my convenience. Whatever is good for you is good for me.
So yeah, I think it's I don't know about you, John, but when we're considering bringing a new client on, for us, we want to. What's really important, not so much the job size, is that we're a match. Like our personality,
Right,
is a match,
absolutely,
right? Like
absolutely.
like you want to feel appreciated. You want to feel
Right.
like you take a lot of time, you invest a lot of time,
Right.
and spend with people and drive around and burn gas, and you want to feel like you're appreciated, right? Like your client is taking your advice or considering your
Absolutely.
advice. Like to me, that's super important.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we're giving a lot of information away up front. Like that's kind of our like what this show is, right? This show is we give our expertise, our time, and we hope that we attract people that we can connect with, right?
Right.
And that are a good fit for us. And then later when we work together, that we work well together and we mutually respect each other, and it's a pleasant experience, right? So that's for us. That's super, super important.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. I mean, for me, I'm definitely, there's a cliche, you can be a transactional agent or the relationship type. I'm definitely the relationship type. I mean, my last few clients, I mean, was there for the birth of their child, baby showers, you just want to make sure that you're having that great relationship with your client. I mean, if not, then really I'm just there to, check off the boxes for you and make sure you get in the home. But
Right.
there's more to it than that.
Absolutely. Which segues into who the heck is buying property now?
Yeah, I mean, if you just look at it now, it's Generation X. I'm 33, so I'm not necessarily on the Generation X side. So, but I do identify with them more. But they are the ones that are purchasing majority of the homes today. Baby boomers, 24%. I mean, you would think that they have more money and that they would be purchasing more, but the fact of the matter is they are staying put because real estate is too expensive and it wouldn't make.
Well, and they like their house. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
they probably moved a few years ago and they're in their house that
Right.
they're gonna croak in.
Right, and
No pun intended.
right, and actually, the baby boomers are the ones that are helping the Generation X. Majority of Generation X, and the millennial generation, they're getting assistance from their parents.
Sure.
So, much of the money that the baby boomers made in the homes that they did purchase. So, for example, I had an open house about 2 weeks ago, and I had a baby boomer tell me that they purchased their home in Pasadena for $150,000, and now it's worth probably about $900,000. And now they're helping their son, who is a millennial, get into the home, and they have to make a decision whether or not it's going to be for them. They move into their home, or they're going to help them move into their own home.
Wow.
They decided to get your own home, but we're going to help you.
We want to help you get out of
Exactly.
our house. I can totally understand why.
Yeah.
So the median age is 45.
45.
Huh? Wow.
Right. So if you're about 40 years old and you haven't purchased a home yet, don't feel too bad. You still have 5 years.
Right on. So buyer motives. First-time home buyers seeking bigger homes.
Right. Majority of the homes sales transactions are first-time buyers and someone wanting to get a bigger house. I mean, sometimes, that house that you bought 10 years ago, 1,200 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath isn't working out because now you have 3 kids and 2 dogs.
That's right.
Sometimes you just need that bigger lot, or your wife has a bigger, she needs a bigger closet for her shoes. And sometimes you just have to do it.
Yeah, man. I know. My wife is my closet is like the demilitarized zone. I lose a few inches every year.
That's too funny.
I use a few inches every year. So here's another interesting chart. Longtime home buyers are not moving as in the past because of the following 5 bullet points.
Right. So
Walk them through it.
So, I mean, I think out of all these 5, I mean, the most important thing is low rate on current mortgages. Okay, it's going to go up. Supposedly, I mean, I can't predict the future, but you're looking at a big difference. You're looking at a couple $100s in mortgage. So if you can get into a home now, it's really important for you to do so. You're looking at, again, a couple $100s in your mortgage over the life of your mortgage. You're looking at tens of thousands of dollars that you're paying extra. So if you can't get into one now, especially with the low property rates, taxes, also where can I afford to go? I mean, a lot of people are staying. Again, they're staying in their homes because there's not a lot of places, not a lot of homes in inventory. There's no homes to be sold. So going back to the previous generation, the previous slide where the baby boomers are not buying, that's because they're staying in their homes. So, they're just opting to remodel and stay in their homes.
So I have something to add,
Yes.
particularly with the boomers, with the last two bullet points that you bring up. So the I can't afford to go, I come across probably 80% of the boomers that I remodel their house for. The remodel is larger than the Gen Xers. And one of the reasons that they tell me, they say this all the time, is like, dude, I'm gonna die in this house.
Right.
So I've been postponing remodeling the kitchen and the 2 bathrooms for 25 years. And now the property values are so high that I could cash a little bit out. So when they stay in the property and they don't sell it, they avoid the capital gains,
Right.
but you can take some of the cash out at a really low rate if you're under 4 points or whatever, 4.5%, 3.75%, or 4% if you're A paper. So I've seen the average job size go from probably $35,000 to about $87,000 now for these particular homeowners. And it's that scenario. It's like, well, if I sell it, I got to give 30% of my gain,
Right.
35% of my gain to the government in the state of California. I got to give 1% of the gross to, if you live in the city of LA, you give the city taxes 1% of the gross. So like immediately you lose a huge chunk of your net worth, right?
Right.
So I think that's a powerful factor
Right.
for
Absolutely.
people to
Capital
stay.
gains hit. Yeah, absolutely.
Even though it's long-term capital gains, long-term capital gains is fine, and maybe 25%. It's a little lower than that. But still, think about it. If you have a gain of per every $100,000 you gain, you lose 25,000.
Right.
Right. If your house went up $500,000, you just gave up $120,000.
Right.
Of your equity. You could remodel the whole house and stay there and love the place for 120. And you're talking about like you're
Right.
giving that away, and you're gonna have to buy a house that's hammered and put in $100,000 anyway.
That's right.
Right. So in some cases, if you're in your golden years, maybe staying is a wise move. So selling after 11 years on average. So
Right.
that's an interesting stat right there. So if somebody's a boomer, let's say they bought it in their 50s, they sell it in 61, their kids are out of college, maybe they're downsizing, they have a 2,500 square foot house, they only need a condo. That kind of makes sense to me.
You're right.
I could see all that. We got a question. Question up.
Yes.
We have a question from Daniel Kwanzaa. He says, I don't know if you mentioned this, but what would be the best indicator to buy into real estate? Have we come out of the 2008 collapse?
Oh,
I wonder if he thinks. Do you think? Maybe respond to that. Do you think that
yes.
we're out of? Well, I was kind of a follow up to the question. Are you insinuating that? Are you asking if we're at the top of the market? I think is.
well, actually, if you look at the numbers, 2018, it's actually at an all-time high. The average price of a home is actually higher than where it was prior to the collapse of 2008. So real estate has actually picked up and it's actually gone above to where it was prior to the recession.
That I think is an amazing piece of
Right.
information, right?
I mean, if I could, I'll find the slide for you, but it's just amazing how we went from basically the bottom of the barrel, and now we're back and above where we were before.
So there's a few different schools of thought about that. About like, do you buy in a high market? Do you know how high the high is? I think some people feel very strongly about like buying low and selling high, but you never really know. So if you were to buy at the highest of the height, right, and you could afford to make the payments, and you stayed in the house, and your kids went through that school, and now your kids are in college, right? Because it's been about 10 years. Let's say you had like some 9 or 8-year-old kids, right? That went to the middle school, they went to the high school. You've been there for 10 years, and you bought at the height of the market, and now your house is worth still another 25%, right?
Right.
So that's like trying to game the market is, it's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's really hard. I mean, again, but with anything, you can't predict what the future is going to hold. But as we do know now, we do know mortgage rates are going up. So one thing you can't predict is you're going to pay a lot more if you wait. So But you can't really predict if there's going to be another recession. There's a lot of things. I mean, with uncertainties with the new tax laws, I mean, who knows what's going to really happen next year, especially with deductions and being taken away. And
I always viewed it. I viewed it at, like, when I moved to Redondo, I viewed it as, and I by the way, I rent here in Redondo, but we moved in here during the recession. We moved in here 2009-ish. No, yeah, 2009, 2008, something like that. It was pretty close around there. I've been there for a while now. The point is that if you're talking about putting in some significant money into a piece of real estate that you're going to live in, you really want to insulate yourself a little bit by buying in the area that has a long track record of having good elementary schools. That's
right.
One, like, if you look at LA, right, the areas that are around the top tier elementary schools always have a very strong demand. Here in Redondo, for the most part, Redondo, all the schools are pretty damn good. But in the wide market of what LA is, right, the schools, the neighborhoods that tie into a good primary school always have very good holding power to their actual price. They hold their price well. They convert well. The inventory is relatively low because there's only X number of houses, right? There's a little bit of scarcity there. So I would look at that first, then worry so much about what you're paying.
Right, absolutely.
Because you can rent the house.
Absolutely.
Right. It'll be in demand. That area will be in demand. So which leads us to talking about money and investing and buying at the right price. John's put together a few of the best deals, or in this particular case, the best deal in town. Tell us a little bit about this.
All right. So scouring through the multiple listings in Pasadena, I do believe that this home at 1385 El Sereno Avenue in Pasadena, California, is the absolute steal on the market right now. For 3,000 square feet at $699,000. For Jackie, you asked where you can find a nice house for. I mean, for this price, you can put your entire family in there. So, if you ask me, I think this is a great steal. And in addition, this house is also move-in ready. That saves you a lot of headaches with trying to remodel.
That's what she looks like inside, guys.
It's a beautiful home, $699,000. And going back to the whole idea of gentrification in the neighborhood, again, because on the flip side of it, the neighborhood's not that great, but because, again, the neighborhood is on the up and up, prices are definitely going to go up. So, I can foresee this house going up to $750,000, $800,000 in a year or two.
And it's huge, 3,000
square feet. I mean, you look at homes in the Pasadena market, you're looking at homes $850,000, $900,000, like 1,700 square feet.
That's right.
So to find a home at this size and this price and condition, move-in ready, as you can tell, I absolutely love the floors and the whole color scheme to it. It's beautiful.
Hey, by the way, folks, if any of you out there are in need, are looking for some property, are looking to buy some real estate, we're going to post John's info on the slide. And if you guys want to send us an instant message, Brian will post a link to John's Facebook page so you guys can connect with John. So let's go to the next one here. Let's see what else you got for us. Oh, okay. So we're going to talk about John's listing.
All right. So this might be better than marriage and having a child. I'm just kidding. No. So this listing is I don't say my pride, but it's one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. Both good and bad. I mean, as you can tell, the price $24,999,999.
It's a drop in the bucket.
I know.
So what do you get for that kind of dough? What do you
So for this property, it's a beautiful Mediterranean style home. It's absolutely beautiful. When we actually tried, we didn't try. When we actually did the marketing, so we did the drone footage. It took about 5 hours just to do the exterior. We never got into the interior. So about 5 hours just to do the video. It's right at the top of the hill. It's been on multiple TV shows, reality TV shows, but confidentiality, we can't really say what they were.
I'll say it, man. That looks just like something the Kardashians would rent. That's very
And,
Kardashian-esque.
pretty close there. Pretty close there. Yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful home. I mean, I've been there a handful of times, and just walking the grounds, you get pretty winded. I mean, it has its own area, pretty much its own park. There used to be
So this is the fence line down here, right?
down there, correct.
Wow,
So
look at that.
down there by the trees where the mouse was,
Down there.
there's a to the left on the left west side of the property.
Yeah.
Going up
Where
to the
here?
right, to the right, right
Yes, sir.
there, around there. It's covered by the trees. There's a little park area. They used to have a zip line going up and down.
Holy
That's
smokes.
how pretty big. That's how pretty.
How awesome
pretty
is
darn
that?
big. You know, and thoughts for this property as well. They thought about putting helicopter pad, but unfortunately, zoning aviation laws won't have that. But it's a beautiful home. Comps in the neighborhood. Really, there is no such thing. This property is so unique. You could find a home that is absolutely bigger, absolutely more opulent, but you won't have it where it has a lot size, where it's separate. It won't have the views. I've seen multiple
This is
homes. Unobstructed views. It's
almost
absolutely
360-degree
beautiful.
views,
It's-
right?
I mean, it's close to that. I mean, the
Maybe
listing. You look at the actual listing itself. It doesn't also include approximately 4,500 extra square feet. There is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Say the in-law suite. Stick your in-laws in there.
Yeah. Man, my mother-in-law would love to live there, man. What are you talking about? The in-laws?
you think about a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500
Yeah.
square feet. That in Pasadena, that's going for almost $1 million.
Of course, of course.
And then there's a 33,000 plus square foot.
Look at those views,
game room.
guys.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful.
Look at those views,
Beautiful
man.
home. Yeah, the owner did a darn good job putting together everything, and those tiles on the table actually those were imported from the Mediterranean.
Nice. Well, look, I got to look at this from a builder's perspective, right? So for those of you that don't understand one particular thing about California, this is California-wide. You cannot cut the top of a mountain ridge and put a house on it anymore, okay? That's it. So the reason that a lot of those houses in the Hollywood Hills that are up on the ridge are so expensive, it's because that's the equivalent of a house on Malibu, right? If you look at the Malibu stretch of sand line, that's it. The houses that you have there, that's what you got. If you want to live with 360 or 360, close to 360-degree views, you have to be on a ridge top, and that's it. That's all you get. So for this house to have, look in relation to where it is on the mountain, it has the entire mountain top to it, right? If you're standing right there at the outskirts of the pool area, you have an unobstructed view 180 degrees this way, and then up until another probably 35, 40 degrees this way. So you're not looking at rooftops, you're not looking at power lines, you're not having other people look at you. You're literally on the top of the hill. So I know that when some people see this $25 million, that's outrageous, it's not Beverly Hills, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is that the geography, the old adage, right? Like location, location, location. This is like the perfect case study of something like that.
Right. And a property like this, then you ask yourself, what is the value of the home? As we spoke earlier, value is whatever someone's willing to pay for it. And
Absolutely.
And for something like this, I do believe it's worth its value. I mean, it's the fact that you are buying a piece of property that there's nothing like it. There's really good luck finding 4 acres in Pasadena. You're not going to
4 acres, man. Dude, that's
just
a
about
lot of
over
property.
under 3.95 specifically.
Yeah, but I mean, it's 4 acres. I mean, and the thing is, like, normally when you get 4 acres, you get 3 acres or 2.5. You're flat. Sometimes maybe you would be against the foothill, so you don't have all the usable space.
Right.
The truth is here, you are paying for the right to not have somebody encumber your view.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
In perpetuity. I mean, sure, yeah, you can add another guest house. If any of you guys have ever been up to the Hearst Castle, the one of the beauties of Hearst Castle, right,
absolutely.
is that it's terraced off. It doesn't have any obstructed views. that type of thing. And Hearst built like 2 or 3 guest houses, which you could easily, build maybe 1 or 2 space-wise. Whether the city will let you do it, that's a different battle. But potentially you could have that. You're paying for exclusivity.
Absolutely.
You're paying for somebody not to grow a tree in front of your view, whatever, or
Right.
look at you and while you're in the pool. You're paying for privacy, exclusivity, and really rare real estate in the sense of its geographic location. Dude, it's tip top. That's a great win. I hope you sell it soon, and I hope you sell it to somebody that will live in it, not just come to it once or twice a year. Because that's the kind of buyer, right? I mean, like, this type of buyer is like they collect houses.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not advocating for Donald Trump to buy it, but if he wants to buy it,
Donald Trump.
you can buy it. You're more than welcome to buy it.
So let's see. I want to take another shot of this thing. So that's the entrance, right? Is that the front of the house?
The top one is the roundabout. Then, people have different opinions on oak trees, but the oak tree was there prior, so it's so they
California
built
oak.
around it, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, the oak tree's nice, man. I've seen a lot of the California missions. There's one particular mission up near King City, and they have these beautiful old oak trees all over the mission, and olive trees too. I think it adds a real
absolutely.
nice touch to the place. It's pretty cool. All right, anything else to add about this place? I mean, I'd love to take a dip in the pool.
No, well, if you have the money, come. You know who to find me.
That's right. So let's talk about rating and okay. So hold on. So we're in another segment here. This little segment here we are calling flop or flip. Is this a good place to invest to flip? I used to be a flipper extraordinaire. I'm retired right now. I haven't flipped a house in a long time, but it's like riding a bike, folks. It's like riding a bike. Flipping houses anyway. So this place here, tell us a little bit about this one. You found this on Belmont in Pasadena.
Correct. So when I initially found this house, I was really excited. I'm like, wow, this is going to be it. This is a decent sized lot, decent sized square footage for a home, 3 beds, 3 baths. And you know what? This one could have potential. Put some money into it and you could definitely sell it. But, after talking to Alex, maybe I was wrong. So let's go to
Let's go next slide.
photo. I mean, the interior itself, to me, it's not that bad. But I'm not the construction guru here.
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on the interior of the house?
So it's choppy, right? I mean, there's things about it, like they try to put a new floor. They put that looks like a laminate floor.
Right.
A $180 Home Depot. They got some cabinets in there. Let's see, we got another couple shots. This is a shot of the outside. Actually, I'm going to take you guys to the Redfin site where there's a few other pictures. So this is the front of the house again. This is another shot. This is from the dining room looking into the kitchen. So, really what they did here is clean it up, right? They've got some off-the-shelf cabinets. They really didn't, they remodeled the kitchen. It doesn't have the original cabinets. They put in some nice prefab deal, and it's probably at par with the house. You see you've got a little engineered deal, you got your little transition piece, you got your 89-cent tile from the Home Depot, and you're good to go. Like, hey man, I don't know, 89-cent tile, it belongs someplace. It's just not in any property that I work on. So you've got your tub situation here. It looks like you're at the Motel 6, right?
Yeah. Tropicana.
Yeah, and then you've got like this floor here that somebody should have beaten off probably about 10 years ago. This is probably a vinyl tile setup, it's got to go. It shows bad.
Ooh.
This is your carpet where somebody liked to change the oil in their Harley. There you go. Then that's where they ran the Harley in and out. And
you know what? That's how I can tell you have experience, because I would have never thought of that. You've seen a lot of homes.
Racing Harleys.
A lot of construction, yeah. It's interesting.
You got a little popcorn ceiling, probably has a little asbestos in there. Hard to say, you got to test it. By the way, I don't know that. Okay, I'm just kind of like shooting off my mouth. But here in Torrance, we're in Torrance, right? In Torrance, before we do a major demo, we have to do a full AQMD report, which means that we have to call a lab approved contractor, take samples of the area that we're going to demo to make sure that there's no asbestos. That way, whoever you hire to do the demo doesn't die or spread asbestos everywhere, which is equally bad. Eventually die a slow, painful death. So, so here we go. Continuing to one of the bathrooms, you've got like a little drop-in unit deal that looked good the first 6 months when it was put in, and now it just looks like it should be hauled out. Now, this is actually a very interesting thing here. Like, okay, the tub is gross and all that, right? But this is a walk-in tub. 80% of the jobs that we're doing, that we're remodeling the bathroom, we demo out the shower or the tub shower combo, and we install a shower. But I was looking at this, I was looking at a commercial from Kohler over the last few weeks. They're like really pushing the stand-up tub, because the tub actually solves this issue. Most of these openings, right, a standard tub is 5 feet long, right? This tub solves the issue of the conversion in a much less expensive way. So like, let's say you hired us to do the conversion into a shower. We would have to put in a new shower pan and waterproof it and blah, blah, blah. You're $25,000 into the whole remodel, okay? If you do a setup like this, where you use a Kohler tub, I think the tub is probably about $4 or $5 grand. And sure, it's not cheap, right, but you're cutting down on the tile cost, because you don't necessarily have to tile all the way up to the ceiling, okay? In this case, they basically built a little frame here to fill in the gap, and bingo. Now, the only reason I even bring this up is a lot of the baby boomers, they're aging. I would say of the new showers that we're building, the boomers are asking us to have either a curbless entry. This is what we call the curb down here, which means there would be no curb in a shower, or to have the curb as low as possible, which is that's about as low as I think you can get it. So anyway, there's a few ways to kind of skin the cat when you're talking about a remodel like this. But getting back to this place, Flip or Flop, this looks like 1950s or pre-1950s construction. These little rafters and stuff like that. The roof is real weak, not a super solid built place. There's things about it that make it less expensive, right? I mean, that's kind of like the bottom line. So if you ask me, is this a good, at this price point at $530? Is this a good flip opportunity? I would say no, it's not. You would have to buy this house at about $420, because think about this, folks. In addition to the money that you're putting into the place, you got to pay the commissions to sell it.
That's right.
You got to pay the loan fees, unless you're Daddy Warbucks and you pay for it cash. You have your finance fees for holding it, right? So let's say it takes you, 6 weeks to renovate and do whatever you're going to do to this place. You're going to pay the transaction fees. You're going to pay the holding fees to the bank. They'll lend you the money. If you did a hard money lender, they're going to definitely rake you through the coals to get some cash back out of you. And then you have to pay the realtor fees. So you have to have a little bit more meat in the deal. Now, I guarantee you that for $430, the house is going to be in way worse condition. For $530, I think it's in fair condition. I think somebody can move into it and plan on doing the remodels over the next 10, 15 years to upgrade and update stuff. But I'd probably negotiate that little deal. I'm sure the realtor is going to get a little pissed off at me that I say that. But what am I talking about, man? Negotiation is part of real estate. So for me, I would say if somebody bought this as a flip, it would flop. That's what I would say.
Originally I was saying this was a good deal, definitely a good flip. But
it's definitely
I
cheap.
agree with you.
It's cheap.
I think the issue is, there's no curb appeal. It's again going to built in 1949.
Yep, it's a 49 house.
Yeah, it's just hard for me to see it going past, especially in the neighborhood. If you're gonna say you do get it for at that cost, $520, you put $100,000 in it, and there's no margin for for any profit.
Yeah, not yet, not yet. I would be. Oh well, look, somebody bought it. Accepting backup offers right now.
Well, there you go.
Somebody bought it. What
Well-
we got a question?
We have a comment from Luz. She says, totally has potential.
Well, everything has. Hell, I had potential.
Well, let's wait about 3-4 months. We'll see where this house is. If it goes back on the market.
I'm curious to see. I mean, look, it is in Pasadena, right? I mean,
it is.
It still is. How far do you think the drive to downtown is from here?
I mean, if you're no traffic, you're looking at 20 minutes.
See, that's, and with traffic, you're probably looking at 40, maybe
45,
maybe an hour,
45
right?
minutes.
We got another question? Okay, so we're getting the wrap it up.
Almost an hour.
We're almost at an hour, folks.
Okay.
Hey, folks, do you guys have any more questions? We'd love to answer your question. We got John here. You got any real estate questions? We'd love to answer questions, concerns. Hey, so let me ask you. Let's talk, while we're kind of waiting for a few folks to chime in on with some questions. What is the market looking now for financing? How much would somebody have to put down to get into a place like this? What are we looking at the minimum? Dollar-wise?
I mean, generally, you want to put 20% down. That's the standard.
Yeah.
It really depends on the property. I mean, if you're, for example, if you're going to submit a property, an offer to a condo, many condos don't accept certain types of financing for FHA loans, for example.
Really?
Yeah.
They could say, I'm not taking FHA
They
borrow?
just don't. They just don't. And a lot of, to the, I don't want to say the advice of their agent.
Yeah.
They just won't take it. So it's good to have cash. Cash is king, even especially in real estate. But
on a deal like this, somebody would do an FHA loan on this, right?
Absolutely. I mean, but also, I'm not a lender expert by any means, but I've seen 5% down.
5%
on
down
an
in
FHA loan.
Sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. It
So
just really
5%
depends what you're getting
25,000.
into, and also it does help if the house has been sitting on the market for a while.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. If you're selling the house, you can get the money out of the way in the end.
Right on. So let's see, what do we got here? All right, folks, we're going to wrap up the show. We want to thank John for coming down. I want to also. Oh wait, we have the lightning round. Hold on a second. I'm almost shutting down, but we're not shutting.
Lightning round.
We got the lightning round. Okay, so the lightning round. This is a new show, folks. Please bear with us. We came up with a fun little segment where we are going to put John to the test, and we're gonna give him 2 seconds to respond. We're going to show him a property, and he's going to tell us whether he would buy or sell that house.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
After the break. Don't go away.
Kitchen you want today from Bay Cities Construction in the Southern California and Los Angeles area. There is no better company who takes time out of the equation to get you a detailed plan of what your new kitchen will look like. Get your design plans done, your interior design plans done, and entire project scope done right now. Get your finished kitchen in 90 days or less. We are the best in the Los Angeles and Southern California area, and there's no need to shop anywhere else. Just get started with Bay Cities Construction. Go to baycitiesconstruction.com. That's baycitiesconstruction.com.
Hey folks, we're back. I'm back here with John Alvarez, and we're about to go into the lightning round. The lightning round, we're going to present John with 2 seconds, a piece of property. He's going to tell us whether he would buy or sell that house, and he's going to tell us real quick. It's going to be, we got 5 pieces of property to throw at him. Let's see what he makes of it.
All right, let's go.
So the first property number 1, Garfield Avenue.
Definitely sell. Don't like the green. It looks like puke. Ooh.
Okay, it's got so that's a sell. Property number 1 is sell.
Definitely sell. Yeah, definitely sell. Not buying.
Property number 2.
Ooh, definitely a buy. Pasadena, 529. This is probably about 800 square feet. Definitely buy. This can go up in value and pretty soon.
Right on. Property number 3.
I'm gonna sell it because I don't like the driveway. Too much concrete for me.
That is
not a lot of curb appeal.
That is
not a lot of curb appeal. Yeah.
Hey, can they see it? Can the audience see the show? Okay, can I see the slide? Okay, cool. So 2-bedroom, 1 bath.
2-bed, 1 bath.
Sell or buy or sell?
I would sell this one.
Sell. All right.
548. Ooh, I actually like this one.
Marengo. Why does that sound familiar?
Yeah, it's a nice neighborhood actually. So 548, 3 beds, 2 bath. Ooh, that's a great deal. 548. Ooh, yeah.
Nice price point, huh?
549.
This little shoebox right here.
I want to say
Property 5.
I want to buy it, but I don't because it looks like a
Shoebox.
trailer. Yeah.
That looks like a double wide.
Double wide. With the
470
Yeah,
Avocado
yeah,
Avenue.
470.
All right. So,
yeah.
all right, folks, if you want to learn more about John and his business, John, where can they see you?
Well, you can go to Berkshire Hathaway's website and you could type in my name, John Alvarez, or you can send me an email, alvarez.johnb@gmail.com. I am open to anybody. If you need help, even if you just want to talk, I can do that as well. My motto is GSD. I am GSD certified. I get stuff done.
Right on, John, right on. Hey, John, man, I want to thank you for coming on the show. For those of you that are watching and have construction questions, we have answers. We got 380 some articles at BayCitiesConstruction.com. Hit the blog page right here. We have an answer for just about every construction question. If you're ready to move forward with a remodel, if you're buying a house and you don't know how much it's going to cost to fix that little fixer-upper up, go ahead and give me a call. Send me some pictures. Alex at BayCitiesConstruction.com. Send me your pictures of that beat-up house you're thinking about buying, and I'll tell you how much it's going to cost to get it up and running, at least for it to be habitable for your wife. Our office number here is 888-881-7355. What else can I tell you? We're here every Tuesday, 5:30. And John, why don't you give out your number?
Sure. My phone number is 626-221-0645. You can call or text any time of day.
Right on. Okay, folks, if you want to learn more about us, we got another question. What?
Quick little question.
Quick question. Let's go.
Alex, do you work in the Pasadena area?
Do I work in the Pasadena area? It depends. I have done jobs in the Pasadena area. You have to be a very special customer for me to go all the way to Pasadena. But I'm sure if we're a good match and the project is right, if we know we can do right by you and make sure that if we're experts in what you want. If you want a kitchen or bathroom remodel in Pasadena and we're a fit, absolutely. If you wanted me to put up a fence that your neighbor knocked down because you ran into it, not so much. But why don't you give us a call at our office, 888-881-7355. Love to talk to you about it. We have one more question. What else we have?
A question for John. John, are there any benefits to buying homes in cash?
Well, yeah, you don't have to worry about whether or not underwriting is going to tell you your offer didn't go through or your financing didn't go through. So having cash is always a good thing. And also it's always better for the seller side to see that you're paying in all cash. I mean, it's a stronger offer. Absolutely.
Cool. Man, if you've got cash makes everything go better, man. Cash makes the world go around in some places. All right, folks, thanks for following us. Thanks for your questions. We got anything else? With that said, we will see you next week at 5:30 on Facebook Live. You can follow John. We'll make sure we put some links up. For those of you, if you don't have 5 shares, I got dinner, I got coffee. Share it up for the first 5 shares. If you're following us on a broadcast, please make sure you share. Thanks, John, very much for coming by, bro. It was a pleasure having you. And we'll see you next week. Folks, remember, you don't need a contractor. You need a team of pros.
Looking for a bathroom remodel in the Southern California and Los Angeles area? If you've shopped and you've looked at prices and have no clue where to start, let Bay Cities Construction get you started with a quote of get design, interior design, project scope, and know exactly what it will cost to get your bathroom remodeled. There is no guesswork and no need to shop around. Just take time out of the equation to get your new bathroom in 90 days. Get your estimate now at BayCitiesConstruction.com. That's BayCitiesConstruction.com. Kitchen you want today from Bay Cities Construction in the Southern California and Los Angeles area. There is no better company who takes time out of the equation to get you a detailed plan of what your new kitchen will look like. Get your design plans done, your interior design plans done, and entire project scope done right now. Get your finished kitchen in 90 days or less. We are the best in the Los Angeles
Hey,
and Southern
YouTubers.
California.
Did you get a notice to comply from the city of Santa Monica or Los Angeles? You're going to need a pair of these. You're going to need some plans. You're going to need architectural, engineering, and city representation. I am providing a turnkey solution for you. For $12,497, I'm going to give you architectural, engineering, and city representation. If you want more information about soft story repair, please visit our website, BayCitiesConstruction.com. Follow the link below. And give our offices a call at 888-881-7355. 7355. My name is Alex Rodriguez with Bay Cities Construction, reminding you don't need a contractor, you need a team of pros. My name's Alex Rodriguez, reminding you don't need a contractor, you need a team of pros.